Hello! So I'm finally back. I don't know if anybody's watching because I wasn't super consistent, but I am excited to be back, and I've actually made quite a bit. I just haven't gotten around to streaming while I was doing it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make these shirts because I promised my mom I'd get around to it pretty soon. But maybe if I'm still up for it later tonight, I'll walk you through some of the other things I've made in the past few months that I haven't been streaming. And you know, maybe I'll even get to one of the other projects I was halfway getting through. But tonight should be fun. It's March tomorrow, and the biggest holiday in my household during March was always St. Patrick's Day. I am mostly Italian, but I have a little bit of Irish, and so as you can see with my hands, that's the Italian coming out. But so we always celebrated the Irish part during St. Patrick's Day, and one of the things that my mom found online was this shirt that she really liked, and it said Italian on it, and it had the Italian flag and a shamrock. And I said I could probably make that, and so I actually sat down with her and designed this together. The image here is from Jiffy Shirts, which is my favorite place to get t-shirts from. They're what they say, they are Jiffy, but they also have really great quality shirts, and they're pretty inexpensive, so highly recommend Jiffy Shirts. But so this is the picture from there. I always like to work off of the picture from from the actual color, because that really helps get a better picture. I have them with me. I don't know if you can see them in the background on the couch there, but they're there. And anyway, I went ahead and designed this with her. We picked what we liked as far as the font was concerned. I like to also kind of get an idea of size, although when I went around to it, I think it's probably going to be a smaller size than what's showing here on this image, just because of when I went to go print it, I was working off of, excuse me, an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and so I was trying to not use up the entire paper for one shamrock. I was trying to get two on it. And so what I did here is, you know, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can see it. So there was a lot of things I did here for the design. The font was pretty easy. We just picked one that had a bit of an Irish feel to it, but not over the top. We didn't, because again, we're trying to mix two cultures, the Italian with the Irish. So I found this font. It's, I don't know how to pronounce it, Glucuster. Anyway, that's what we picked. By the way, if you are using a Mac, there's a really great tool that I use for looking at fonts. I'm going to go ahead and see if it's going to show up if I launch it. It's called Fonts, and it's really great because you can do a preview and see a whole bunch of fonts. So you can see, this was what we used to figure out the font. You can see Italian, and you just kind of scroll. I like it because I have way too many fonts, but so I can quickly scroll through and I get a pretty good idea as to what would work well without taking too long. I think I have several hundred fonts in here. If I was more organized, I'd use my collections more, but you can also see, like, I have a few collections I've done over the years. But it's just really nice and quick. You can also do some searching and things and have favorites and that kind of stuff. So highly recommend it. It's called Fonts for the Mac. You can also use Fontbook, which comes with the Mac. It's okay. So anyway, we picked out the font. It was a little wide, so I actually just went in and resized it, and that's kind of how we went. The part that was a little bit tricky was actually a shamrock, and I might just go ahead and walk you through how I made the shamrock. Once I figured out how to do it, it's actually pretty quick. Just so you know, I'm using the latest version of Silhouette. I just like downloaded it a couple days ago. So if something goes wrong, know that it's because I probably haven't learned the new version very well. So, I don't know where the shamrock that I had before went. Maybe it's in here. There it is. Yeah, I think that's what I used. Cool. So we don't zoom in. I'll make these lines white so you all can see it. Okay. So I'm just gonna ungroup so I can get to the ones I want. The one I want. All right. So you can see it here. There's the shamrock. Now, what I did is I found an Italian flag online. Let's see if I still have it. I don't think I have it there, so we're just gonna search real quick on Google. So pretty simple. I'm just gonna drag that down to my desktop because it's easier to import. And what's nice then is all I have to do is drag this file into Silhouette like that, and then bam, the background's there. Then what we want to do is actually play around with that background. So if we go to the fill pattern there, we get to the advanced options. And this is the panel that really allows us to play around with this. So we can scale it down. Obviously, that's not what we want, but we can scale it to the right amount. So you can see there, that's about right. You can also play around with different angles and things and do all kinds of fun stuff. Pretty simple, easy peasy. You just have to know where you're going. Go back. So, yeah, I mean, play around with it. There's all kinds of fun things you can do here. This works with any shape in Silhouette. Any background image you find online will work just fine. So, yeah, I mean, give it a try. It's pretty cool. So go ahead and delete that. So that's what I did. Oh, actually, and then the other thing is I played around with the line width, or line thickness, and you can see like that. If I was thinking about it, I would have made the line probably thicker. What ended up getting cut out was it like only in a few parts did I see the white, and it mostly didn't cut. So just heads up, if you're playing around with this, you probably want, if you want that really crisp white line to show up, you probably want to make it thicker to account for the bleed when it cuts it out. It might cut in too much. You'll see it in the final product. But considering I'm doing this for fun, I didn't feel like I had to be 100% professional. If my mom's watching. I'm sorry, Mom. So anyway, if you are watching, I'd love to know. You can just hit me up on chat and say hi. And while I'm going through here, if you are watching, no, I'm trying to live stream more, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have about crafting. Most of my knowledge is in a few specific areas, but happy to talk about anything that you might be wanting to know about. And you know, if you're getting stuck on anything, I'm here. If you're watching this from a recording, come join me. I try to live stream on Thursday nights when I'm on my best form and not traveling for work or whatever. So anyway, once I got the design down, then it was time to get things all set up for cutting. So what you're seeing here on the cutting mat is the Italian, and if I You'll see it if I make the line colors black. This ended up actually not working out super great. The ones on my heat transfer vinyl sheet was a little bit too small on the right, so I had to kind of finagle. It got cut off a little bit, but I rounded it out, so it shouldn't be too noticeable on some of those. Just know that you probably don't want to go to the edge, even though you can see the red cutting line there. You probably don't want to go all the way to the edge because you run into some of those issues. So if I were to do this again, all I'd have to do is just select it all, hold down shift, and just drag it in a bit. And that would have saved me a lot of that little finagling and made it perfect looking. But all I did was replicate. If you haven't used the replicate tool, it's pretty easy. What I had was, I'm gonna go ahead and delete. I'll just show you what it looks like over here. So you have your Otalion here, and if you just hit the replicate panel here, it looks kind of like a star. You can see here that you can make more. So you go 2, and then I select it, and then I go 3 down, and bam, I've got 6. We're doing 4 shirts tonight, but I did a couple extra just in case if my mom wants to give out more, she can just grab some green shirts from wherever and iron it on. It's not going to turn out quite as good as with my press, but it'll work, especially for a shirt that you're only going to wear once a year. So anyway, that's the Otalion, and I have it mirrored. Whenever you do heat transfer vinyl, when it's just that solid color, you always want to mirror. And what I love about the new Silhouette is that it prompts you and says, hey, look, you're using heat transfer vinyl. Do you want to mirror it? And I always say no to automatic mirroring because I read somewhere that someone was running into some problems. So I do it manually, but what I like is that it prompts you so that you don't forget to do it. I've done that a few times before, and that was a bit of a problem for sure. So anyway, that's the Otalion. Pretty simple and easy on that one. Then what I did for the Shamrocks is I turned on the registration marks. If you've never done print and cut with Silhouette, again, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is turn on registration marks, and you get these little dots, and you print out on your material, and the Silhouette will actually look for those dots, and that's how it determines how to cut it out. So all I had to do is come in here and say I have a cameo for the registration marks, and it allows me to just kind of see where I can place stuff. And then I always like to turn on show print border for this as well. You can see here that my page size is a little messed up. So now it adjusts, and this is the 8.5 by 11. The material that I'm using for the printed part of this for the Shamrocks is the believe it's Avery. Yeah, it's Avery dark dark shirt printable heat transfer. I don't think they call it heat transfer. Printable shirt something. I can pull it up on Amazon. Yeah, or let me see if I have the. Yeah, it's right here. It's just this fabric transfers. That's it. So it's the Avery fabric transfers, dark fabric transfers. Dark really is the key. I actually only really buy dark because I just like the way that it turns out. It's a different way. If you use the white version, you actually have to reverse and stuff, and it gets kind of funky, and I don't like the way that it transfers as well. So I like the dark. It's a little bit more challenging to weed the dark stuff, and the other one you don't have to weed really, but I think it's worth it. So anyway, what we're gonna do now is, hey, Sandra, I don't know if you're watching. You should say hi in the chat. So anyway, sorry, my watch is buzzing. This is funny. Anyway, so now we have the registration marks, go ahead and get the shamrock in there. What I did is I put the shamrock in, and I basically tried to find a way to get as big as humanly possible inside the space with 2. And I was trying to decide if it was going to be big enough, and I think they are. I mean, they're 5.5 by almost 6, which is a little bit small, but I think with the Italian wording, it's probably okay. Generally speaking, for an adult size shirt, you tend to want to be anywhere from 7 to 9, depending on the style that you're looking for, inches. But again, I wanted to not have too much material, and I think it's going to be okay, especially with the tight fit of the women's shirt. Wanted to give a little bit more of a, you know, smaller feel, and didn't want to overwhelm. So anyway, once I basically just kept rotating and resizing till I could get 2 to fit on there, and then I just send it to print on my printer, and then I added it to my sheet, to my mat for a silhouette, send it through, and it cut out. I did that for 3 sheets, so then there was 6 shamrocks total. So, and then peeled off the backing and went from there. Let me just go ahead and hit Control-Z. So I did that a few nights ago just because I thought I could finish in one night, but I didn't. I was too tired. So we'll go ahead and finish them tonight. Alright, so let's go ahead and show you what it looks like. I'm going to switch to my other view. Alright, so we have our stuff over here, and you can see here is the little shamrock stuff. You can see the different kind of material, and then we'll just put it on. You can also see the white border. There wasn't much that came out of it. And then here is our Italian right here. And this is the one I'm going to send to my mom. So I'm going to put these off to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and get my heat press out. Anytime, if anyone is watching and has any questions, go ahead and post it in the chat. Sandra says hi. This is my first time telling people, really, other than on Twitter, that I've been doing this, just because I'm so bad about getting around to streaming. But I do hope to stream every Thursday night. I'm not out of town. So again, we're doing St. Patrick's Day shirts. Got 4 to do today. I have a handy dandy guide I got from Expressions Vinyl, which is my favorite place to get vinyl because they just have so many different options. You're probably seeing me cut my head now. I'm looking. So this is my Cricut Easy Press. I used to use a full massive heat press, but this has been like one of my favorite tools of the past year. It really makes it so much easier. Nice and portable size. It's basically just a big giant iron. It's pretty awesome. We're letting that heat up. Also learned the hard way that the cutting board that I have here doesn't respond well to heat, so I always make sure to have this down. So I can move these to the side for now. The other thing I always have on hand is this Teflon sheet. It's really nice to press, and so I peel off the backing after I press, and then I put the Teflon on and do it a second time. Especially with kids' shirts, that's really what helps the heat transfer to stay and not come off in the wash as much. I'm just grabbing the shirt. Okay, so this is the shirt that we're working with. You can see it's nice, women. This is Gildan, which I think makes some of the best shirts. They're nice and thick and good quality, but really not too expensive. So, like, I think this shirt was like maybe $3. I made something with some fake fur, and so I've been having it all over my craft room since then. Alright, so now we are good. When you're working with heat transfer vinyl, the most important thing that I learned, and I learned from somebody in the business who I was asking some help from, is to make sure that you press it first to get kind of the moisture out just on its own. Trying to square it up because some people are very meticulous and exact, and that's not really how I craft. I'm more of an eyeball, make sure it looks good enough. People aren't perfect. They're not going to wear a shirt just like a mannequin would, so, you know, as long as it's close enough. And since I'm not selling this for profit or anything, I'm just doing it for fun. Now we're just gonna place things on here and see how it looks. The other key to remember with the Avery stuff is that you need to use one of these little, they come with a like this, and you put it over it. The is not for a Teflon sheet. I learned that one the hard way. I have a dead Teflon sheet. It got all kinds of goop on it from the transfer, so really important to remember that. I'm just reading a comment from Sandra. Now she wants a St. Patrick's Day shirt. Yeah, Sandra, you should make one. Now, if you have a design you want, let me know. And the ones I made for the boys was like, it didn't say Italian. I think it said "Kiss me, I am like what's it? Quarter Irish" or something like that. And it was like this like glitter green shamrock. It turned out pretty cute. I mean, you could do that just like a shamrock shirt kind of a thing. Would totally work. Alright, just squaring up, seeing how I like it. Try to like step back and see. With women's shirts, it's always tricky, especially the V-neck, to get things in a spot that looks right. I don't know that I've mastered the art, but it's getting better. Alright, I think we're gonna give this a whirl. So we should be able to just peel this off. Probably needs a little more time, it looks like. I think I should set it for 15 seconds on the timer. Oh, yeah. And there we go. It's pretty good. I got one of those fur things in here. And then we're gonna press one more time with this. Give it a few more seconds. And done. All right. There's our Italian shirt. You want to see it over here? Italian. Cool, now we only have 3 more to go. So Sandra or anybody else watching, are there any crafts that you're making lately? Any plans? By the way, this is fun to have another viewer. I had another stream where I had one viewer and it was a lot of fun. We were talking back and forth. Let's see if it goes pretty quick when you have everything already weeded out. Oh, you're getting into knitting, Sandra? That's awesome. I did knitting for quite a while there. I was really enjoying it. I don't know if you remember that. It was fun. I learned how to make a scarf. And then I learned how to make a scarf really quickly. So I was able to make, with a drop stitch and size 17 needles, I was able to make a scarf in about an hour. And I used double threads. I have like the fuzzy thread and then I have a normal thread, yarn. And that worked really well. And I made like, gosh, it must have been 20 or 30 scarves in the span of like a month, and gave it to everybody I knew. And then I was kind of like, well, nobody else is left to give a scarf, and so And I just didn't have the patience to learn anything else. Like, I didn't want to make a blanket. I knew that takes forever. And so, yeah, I just stopped, and I ended up giving away all my knitting stuff after that, because I couldn't think of anything else I could do quickly. I don't like crafts that take too long. Kind of bad like that. So what are you planning to knit, or are you just gonna start with the basics and work from there? Well, Sandra, I'd love to help you knit. Man, if only I had knitting needles still. I mean, I could stream and help you with that. Yeah, just trying to think. But I'm happy to chat with you sometime if you're running into issues. The hardest part I always found was casting. When you know, like starting it out. Once you got it started, it goes pretty well. And that's the easier part. And then being consistent with your tightness. That's why I liked the size 17 and drop stitches. You didn't have to be perfect. It really just it goes. It's more forgiving the bigger needle you have. I can actually bring up a photo real quick. Let's see. Crafts. Let's see. Looking for the photo. Yeah, here we go. So let's see. Here's one of the scarves I made. It photographed pretty terrible. But this was what it looks like up close. You can kind of see the two threads. One was like the furry, fuzzy one. And then the other one was like the hairy one. Best to say it. This one was kind of fun. It's like a ribbon yarn kind of a thing. But you can see there, I'm not very good. You can, the tightness is not even. But it's really pretty up close on the ribbon one. Gosh, this says this was January of 2005. Here's another one. I think this is also ribbon yarn. Or, yeah. And close up. I think that's all the scarves I photographed. That's what it looks like. Anyway. Let's go back to what we were doing. What was the one? But, so you've been sewing. What have you been sewing lately? toiletry cases, for like travel and stuff. Okay. That's really cool. Normally I just use like a gallon Ziploc bag. Have the kids stuff it with randomness as we're running out the door, because sometimes I don't always plan. That sounds really cool. Did you have a tutorial or like a pattern that you followed for those? Accidentally turned off the iron from the easy press. I think you just sent me an image, but can't see it on my watch. Just a simple bag with a zipper. Was it like, did it have a like expanded bottom, or was it just like I'm using my hands because I'm Italian, like the like flat on the bottom? I've done a pouch before, but never like the nice bottom part to it. So you just folded the fabric in half, double line. Easter baskets. Like, were they stiff Easter baskets? That sounds neat. That's really cool. Did you use like a... You'll take a pic. You know, you should post on here in the comments too, like, so that people can see if they watch the video and know what you're talking about. As again, I can't see right now, but I would love to see it later. But did you use like a stiff interfacing, or was it just like fabric? I turned it off again. Okay, yeah, so you used fabric and canvas as interfacing. Interesting. I've never used canvas for interfacing. That makes sense though for a basket. Well, everything's more fun and goes faster when you have a friend to hang out with. So we're done with the shirts. That's nice and quick. Buckled a little bit. I need to figure out a better system for when I move things around. Anyway, here's the shirts. My mom will be happy. She has all these friends that keep wanting one. What's super funny is, I think she posted on Facebook or something. She's like, "Oh, I want one of these shirts." And so then I responded, I was like, "I can make that for you." And then I guess her other friends saw it and were like, "Oh, I want this." And all this stuff. And I was like, "All right, sure, Ma." And she's like, and I went and ordered the first batch, and she's like, "Oh, can I order some more? I have more friends who want one." And it's fun. I like that my mom has all these friends who get excited. So it's not my first set of shirts I've made for my mom and my friends. If you go back in the history, you'll see the giant Italian shirt. Have the shipping things. What do I do with that? Be organized a little bit recently. I'll find that later. So, I mean, since you're hanging out, I do have another project I've been wanting to finish. I have all these unfinished projects. I'm sure you are the same. I'll plug this and to the side. So at work, I have this big space next to the whiteboard behind me that's pretty open and barren, and I put a calendar, but it's just wrong scale. I need more, and so what I want to do is, I had a bunch of canvas I bought on Prime Day, just blank canvas. And wanted to do like a 3-paned Bible verse. And so I did that. I did the beginning part of it where I designed the verses on the 3 panels. Let me show you that in Silhouette in just a moment. It's over here. Clean up just a tad. Okay. Oh. Let's see. I wonder if it's in my recents. So this is the Bible verse that I picked. It's actually funny because I didn't stream this, but I did another case for my phone. Let's show it here. So it was like there was a theme of hearts. Now that one was originally the case I'm showing there was originally kind of Valentine's themed, but I think also I was just in a place where I just wanted to continue to be reminded to not lose heart, to keep going, to keep pressing through when things are tough. And so I wanted to remind myself that, and I felt like, you know, if you put it on your phone, you don't forget. I haven't, and so this I also thought would be fun. Is, you know, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. It feels like the right thing for the workplace, and so it took me a while to find a font that I loved, and I talked about this earlier. I have so many fonts. But the tool that I use is, it's called Fonts, and it's on the Mac. And what's really great about it is you can type anything you want into here, and then you see it in all of your fonts. So you can see all of it there, and you can just scroll. And I scroll pretty quick, and it normally jumps out at me what looks good. But in this case, I wanted to have a font that was fairly thick, lined, but still had a fair, like, flourishy, scripty feel, more feminine. And so I went with this one. I don't remember which font it is. Let's see. Hello Friend is the name of it. I think I might have gotten it in the Silhouette Design Store. And it has that nice, like, thickness I was looking for, because what I want to do with it is I cut it out, and I have this technique for doing marble painting that I used on an iPhone case, and I think it would go really well on the canvas. And so the wording would actually be the negative. And so it'd be white, and I'd do the marbling all over the rest of it. So I also added these hearts here. I think it's one of the files I have from Silhouette, just to give it a little bit of design. And that was the cutting part, but this is what it will look like on the 3 canvases. So it'll be separate. So I already cut this out. So I'm gonna go ahead. Oh gosh, I just realized I'm not showing. So anyway, this is what it looks like. I'm doing it over. It's been a while. I'm a little rusty on the streaming. So if you look here, you can see, you know, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart here again, and the 3 panels on the left. And I'm going to go ahead and show what that looks like. Transition back. So I've already cut it out and applied it. I don't know if I just had some old vinyl or whatever, but it was so hard to weed. Oof, everything's falling. So you can see here, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. So that's that part. And then in here, this marbling technique. Let's see if I can find it. I have like a pan I was using for the marbling stuff. Just find it. There it is. Sorry about that, Sandra. Alright, so this is just a Chico foil pan for some paint stuffs. Get this out of the way. So, the key to marble paint is Barbasol. I just realized this pan is probably not going to be big enough for this. Yeah, it's not going to work very well. So, I'm going to flatten it. Not really great. I originally got it for smaller purposes. Just trying to think. I have some newspaper here. I'll go with that. Something I bought online had newspaper in it, so it works for me. Look at something. Looks like it's from Chicago. This is Chicago Tribune. Huh. Cookie sheet, tinfoil. Yeah, I just don't want to go out there. I guess it could. It probably would work better, huh? Some foil. I'll be back. All right, I am back. crafting is better with friends. Alright, next step is to figure out what colors I want to use. Someone who stayed at our house for a while gave us a whole bunch of acrylic paints because she was a painter. So a whole bunch of random colors and things in various stages of fullness. But most of the time I just go back to ones I had bought originally. I'm getting them all out because I have a hard time picking things. Let's see. I was kind of wondering about some metallics. I always like to put some metallics in them. Metallics. I really want like a turquoise because that's like my favorite, but I don't think I have a turquoise. I could make a turquoise, I guess. Green. Yeah, that's too much work. Any opinions on the colors? Anyone? Let's see. I'll put in here what I got. I think that's all of them. Maybe some blues. I go for my wedding colors, I guess. Blue and silver. Alright, so I think last time I used way too much of the shaving cream, but let's shake it first. There you go. That's a weird move. I'm going to get a piece of paper. Flatten it down. This side, fill in some of these gaps. I know I don't need to, but this size. Looks like I need to make it bigger. Alright, I think that should be good. I'm just going to put it like this. This is the color I want the most of, so I'm putting quite a bit. Let's see. What I love about the whole marble trend is that you're supposed to not be perfect. So that lends itself great for me. I've got a lot of colors here. So. This one looks like it doesn't have much left. Alright, trash. So this doesn't seem like it has much either. Oh, it's got some. Oh, looks like it got some. I saw on one of the blogs somewhere people talking about using baby wipes for craft room cleanups, and man, it is perfect. Like, it's great too because they're easy to find and nice. And I used to not need to go out and buy baby wipes. because I had a baby. It's really funny to go out and buy it, you know, now. But they are great for cleaning the Craftsman. So it doesn't want to come up very well. Alright, I think I'm just going to call this one. It's pretty though. Very pretty. Alright, last one. Alright, now for some, I think this might be a dark blue. Let's see, gray. It's gray. Gray will be good. It's not coming out very well. Alright, I'm not professional, but that's good. Oops. Blue and silver. And then I'm just gonna rake through it. I'm just trying to think what I've got in here that I can rake through. Some cotton thingies. You can start to see it more light. It's similar to how people kind of do cakes and things. I'm just gonna add some bit of randomness. All right, here's the moment of truth. I'm just pushing down lightly, don't push down too much. So there was a few spots you can see here that didn't get anything in some parts of the edges. So I'm hoping that when I scrape this, that it will kind of go through. So I'm going to just go a little bit. Put this down. Oh, At one point I bought a few scrapers online that I was planning to give to people if they needed them. That's what I'm looking for now. Of course, when you find something, it's always hard to find. There it is. So, it's a nice big scraper. I think it's pretty much the width, so that'll be nice and even. Will come off. So, let's see what happens. Definitely some of the edges didn't happen, so I'm just going to press this down. Kind of turning out to be a little more wood grainy, I think, because I'm scraping it. I don't remember what I saw online as far as this, if I needed to wipe it off more or what. Or just let it dry like this. Use a scraper for your yeah, I could use a scraper for my shower door, that's funny. It's a pretty big one. I have smaller ones. Of course, you got enough like that. I can't really see where the one is. Let's see if I can find it though. Let me get my tool. I wonder if I can see it if I put it up to the light. No. This one might be one where I just have to wait for it to dry. Try a little bit more. Well, that looks pretty good. Have a great night, Sandra. Thanks for joining. It was wonderful to have you. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, I hope we do talk soon. Sleep well. I guess I should look at the original. I think it should be new logo here. That one got a little bit of paint in the Y, but kind of gives a little bit of a, you know, kind of like casual vibe. Paint on all the things. Alright, well, I don't think I can fix that part. Let's scroll. So there's a whatever above. I'm guessing if I waited until the paint dried, it might have done a better job of not bleeding and running like that, but I'm kind of impatient. So many baby wipes. There you go, whatever you do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do paint on the other ones, but I'm probably not going to peel it tonight. I'm just going to see what the difference is, because I feel like it's just super messy trying to pull it while it's so wet. I'm gonna try to smooth this out. It's gonna kind of make the colors all kind of go together, but then I'm gonna add some more and do some swirling with that. There's this one. Where is that one? I think there's probably enough in here to just kind of swirl around it this way. Looks like we need a little bit more. Squish, 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 squish. Alright, that looks good. Alright, look at that. That's the fun of paint. It's everywhere. Right. I think that's it. I think that's the last thing I'm gonna do tonight. I'm pretty excited I got around to that. I've had it on my to-do for over a month now. Had it all ready to go and I just needed to do all the painting. So that is exciting. Just clean up my hands. Before I go over to the computer. Okay. Oh, good thing I looked down. This was on my seat. All right. Well, I had a fantastic time. Thanks to you who were watching, and thanks so much to Sandra who is commenting on this. I will very much try to be back next Thursday. I try to stream somewhere around 8 to 8:30. And for anybody else that'd love to come and hang out and chat and talk all crafting, that's what I'm here for, and would love to hang out with you. So if you're watching this later, come by next Thursday and we'll hang out together. Have a fabulous night and talk soon. Bye.